start the YouTube side of things. Looks like it's starting the YouTube side of things. It looks like it's popping up. And then it's not coming up. Ah, there it goes. Well, all right. Well, screw it. We'll just chalk that up to some kind of weirdness where I had to do it 4 times. I don't understand. I didn't change anything. All right, guys. So the question is, what are we doing today? And I can answer that for money. I'm just kidding. I asked in the Discord, and I didn't really hear anything from people, but I decided that I'd go with the one thing I did hear, which was people wanted to see me build more stuff out in the home lab and just kind of talk about it. So we'll do that a little bit. We found this extra server, so we got to figure out what we're going to do with it and what kind of maybe memory allocations we might kind of play with. So let's plan that out a little bit in the home lab. In the home lab, I know it's a little bright here. I've got this older server that I found yesterday, which is hilarious. And then this one where I've mostly turned everything off. The only thing that was really running in here, of any consequence, was the llama server. And even that's not really doing too much. So I'm going to clean out some of these older nodes that I'm not really using anymore. We ended up not really using the C login nodes. They were going to be for kind of our high performance compute playground. We didn't end up really using them much. And the lab nodes, we kind of had mixed, people kind of had mixed usage of them. So we're going to pop these out of here as well. We'll delete all their labs and all the snapshots of them. That's fine. And then the, let me see. Oh, that's actually interesting. So the production Kubernetes I need to turn on, because we do use those in our home lab environment, and then I need to make sure that that's healthy. So let's come over here, clear cat etc hosts, and then maybe grep for K8. And here is the production Kubernetes cluster as it is right now. Not the old one that is actually found that I could turn back on, but this is the one that we're officially working with again. So let's say I just wanted to check on them and make sure. So we're going to wait for that one to come up. Redlib, Mealy, Vault Warden. I don't know what any of those are. Linux developer. I'm not sure what literally any of those are. Redlib, Mealy, or Vault Warden. Are those all just tools? I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yeah, I never. No, I don't. I don't know any of those things. All right, so let's let this come up. We're gonna make sure. I'm gonna make sure the environment's up for the home lab. I had forgotten to turn these on. Let's see where our footprint is on the memory for this box. Okay, this box only has about 17 gigs free, so we might do a couple of things on this box, but we don't have too much space as far as memory goes. Even though when you go look at the actual performance of the box, its memory footprint is much lower. Like its memory usage is much lower. Like it doesn't actually use all of that memory. It just allocates it. And you would find that actually really by going to the individual nodes and looking and see. We can go look at them and see that they're not using that much. All right, the node's back up. So let's SSH to prod K8S 1, I believe is what we're calling it. And then see that he's up. And we'll become the Scott user. Then kubectl get nodes. And we'll see that he's not quite stood up yet. He is not all the way up. So we'll give him a few more seconds to finish starting himself up. Probably some of the stuff is still starting on that node. Also, yeah, see how some more services are actually coming up still. So we'll give that a little bit of time to kind of boot. Redlib, Reddit front end, Mealy, Recipe Manager, Vault Warden, self-hosted, Rust Rewrite. Oh, haven't played with any of those really. Late night stream, did someone push to production, said Dev? No. This isn't too late for me. This is only about 6 o'clock at night for me. All right, how do I know my my port's open? Well, there's my API server right there, 6443. So my kubectl get nodes should come up. And I don't have to go check the other 3 nodes or the other 2 nodes because I see that they're up. I know that they're up in my environment. kubectl get pods will show me that these things are coming up. kubectl get services will show me that the services for web service is up. And if I describe that service, web service, I should see that he is coming up. He does not have an endpoint yet because this container is still creating right here. When that container is done and ready, then it'll come up the rest of the way. So let's give it a second here. Still nothing. Still coming up. A little worried about the time that's taken for this to come up. Could just be kind of slow on the system. Looks like there's been a restart already. That's less good. we're gonna let that try to start, and then we'll call those systems good, and then we'll go on with our build. I still had stuff apparently to turn on in the home lab here. Yeah, okay, two of them are running, meaning that 2 of the endpoints will be here, the 157 and the 178, and we'll see those here in a second. So we'll get pods-o wide, and 2 of those are going to have 17 and 197. Yeah, or sorry, 157. Yeah, there's the 157, and there's the 178. So they're these earlier, kind of smaller ones, and then just those 2. Okay, that's all he gets, I guess. I don't know what other stuff's going on in the cluster, I guess, but okay. Point is, those are up, meaning that some of our other stuff is running in the home lab, like I expect. All right, so now I got to decide what I want to build in the lab. Like, what do we want to kind of test and work with and work on? And I kind of wanted to study for my PCA tonight, but I guess people would prefer to just do home lab stuff. So that's what I want to work on. This is the Vault server. I'm not really running the Vault right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one too. We could always rebuild the Vault server if we need to. All right. And then we have all this capacity as well that we're not doing anything on. Nothing's on this node doing anything. So we're going to kind of say, hey, Fisherman, how's it going? Are you back home? Are you back resting and relaxing? Fuck, with the little dancing. I don't know what those are, hot dogs or something. All right. What are we doing with our found additional compute that we have here? I have a bunch of notes for what I kind of want to do in the home lab, but let's go check out this. This is like kind of my primary box. I'm not really using checkmark stuff, so I'll get rid of that. We messed with that to build it out. GitLab, I can probably turn GitLab on. I haven't been running it. OpenSUSE we don't need. I'm just kind of cleaning up the lab since I haven't done much. XCPNG is a lot like Proxmox, yeah. XCPNG is a fork when Zen got bought by Oracle. So Oracle bought Zen, and then that's XEN for Zen, and people forked off XCPNG. So it works pretty good. It's just not nearly as supported as like Proxmox. You can't use nearly. There's no Terraform providers for it. There are Ansible modules for it, so we can do some Ansible, but it's very limited. Like I can basically spin nodes up from templates and tear them down. That's about all I can do because the Ansible module support just isn't there. So we are probably going to tear down these nodes in the environment and not use them anymore. So let's tear them down. Get rid of all them. We're cleaning up the home lab environment for stuff that we don't really need. And we could do a few things in the lab as well while we're at it. we could test this functionality out, which is over here. Let's make sure we can get into Guacamole still. We can. We're going to have to clean up some nodes in here as well. So let's see if we can get in here. A bunch of nodes that don't make sense anymore. A bunch of connections that probably now need to be deleted because I just deleted the nodes for them. So delete this one. Delete this one. Actually, I think I deleted everything that was in here. Yeah, I deleted all the nodes that were in here. So we're going to delete everything. And maybe we'll find a new way for people to connect here. I mean, we have a way for people to connect, but let's do this. Let's clean this all up. Delete all this crap. Clean it all up. We're cleaning everything up today. We're like tearing the whole lab down to nothing. I got asked for Saturday to do just kind of like run through all of this stuff that's in my home lab. So that's what we're going to do in our little Saturday meeting. So I figured I'd clean it up a little bit and show some stuff while we're at it. So, all right, so let's move this over here real quick. And this, we're going to call this environment clean as far as it's up, right? I can call that good. Let's come over here to Werewolf and let's check. We made sure these were all up yesterday, but let's make sure all of our nodes. Oh, did I stick that on somehow? Hold on. I don't know how to turn that off. Oh, hold on. There we go. I don't know why that was stuck on like that. I thought I could push it and then let it go. All right, anyways, I don't care. I don't care. All right, I didn't realize that had been playing for as long as it had been. All right, so we're here. We got all this stuff. All the nodes are good. Let's go check one. Oops. Let's go Rocky 5. Check its address, and then let's come over here and let's just see for fun if we had user Scott. And we gave him a password. Could we connect to that system, right? Here's the host name for that machine, 192.168.200.55. And his authentication, we'll just give him Scott and give him that. We're just going to see what's the connection name. Maximum number of connections will be 1. Where's the connection name? Connection will be what is this? Rocky 5. Rocky 5, and the protocol will be SSH, and the host name and the port. Well, 22 always, right? There we go. And then root location shouldn't have to. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Save it. Now I'm curious to see if we come back to my home. We'll see the connection. I should be able to connect, and then let's see if we get a connection to that box. If we don't, then there's actually something we might have to do, but we'll see here. We'll try to troubleshoot a little bit before we give up on that. I mean, it would be nice to give people access right through a browser. I think that would be nice because then we can also give like the ability for just a quick login. All right, this is fine with me. Oh, did I do the wrong? Hold on. Oh, didn't mean to do that. All right. Let's see if you're correct about the wrong IP. History, connections, Rocky IP. Oh, you're right. See, I was testing you guys and somebody caught it. That is right. That it should be 200, not 220. Yep. That's how my home lab rolls, is 200, not 220. Let's come back to home, try to do a connection in there, and reconnect. Their offer was SSH RSA and SSH DSS pre-auth, but our system doesn't have yeah, I don't think it's going to allow those keys, so we're going to have to make sure that we allow that on these systems. Where are my teeth? I can't help you with your algorithms homework. That's not what I do. I left that in college. However, I do have a good friend that does that stuff, although he was streaming all day. I don't think he's on anymore, is Midnight Simon. Go ask Midnight Simon about that stuff. He'll help you out. He's over on Twitch most of the time. He spent all day on Twitch today, and he does algorithm stuff. He's useful for that kind of stuff. All right, hold on. So we can't get... Let's go grab this real quick and just throw it in here. I'm pretty sure I've seen this error before, and I'm pretty sure you just have to set it in the no matching host type there type, and then you just have to set when you do the SSH. So I can't set that on my side. I can't set that in here, but I should be able to set that in my SSH config on the box. Host key algorithm. Now, I thought I already did this before, but maybe I didn't. So let's go check on the node where we're connecting from, which in this case is the Guacamole box. And I don't think I allow SSH into this, so we might just have to do it here like this, like a bunch of savages. That's the SSH, more SSH config. There's our key algorithms. I'll just change that to VI. I think I can get away with that, right? Plus. And then I think we can try that again. Hold on a second. Well, that's my SSH config going out. Thought I had one in there. What's key algorithms? SSH, RSA, DSS. All right, all right. Don't see anything in there for... Nothing in there. Yeah. All right, we'll have to figure out. I mean, I'm not really too worried about if we get that connected right now. I was just hoping that that was all set up. And I thought I had fixed this one before coming from the Guacamole server. But if I can't get that connection right now, I'm not super worried about it. Wondering why those aren't set. All right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, where my teeth. He does pretty good when he's doing his coding stuff. That's all he does is algo stuff. So I do like kind of hanging out down there in his stuff. All right, well, let's go build some stuff then, I guess. Let's find something that we want to set up for the home lab. I had a few ideas of stuff that we were going to put in there. I guess I could open up LogSec and go look at them, but one, I was thinking about setting up Zeek in the environment. Oh, and then the other one that I was thinking of setting up is everybody's always telling me about that Wazuh or whatever it is. Maybe we'll go look at that. Maybe that's a fun one to set up. So let's get that. Let's go get that going real quick. We'll worry about this. I'm not super worried about the stuff going on there. Also, by the way, got Ranger a new bed today. Ordered it for him, so it should be here in like a few days. So Ranger's only got these 2 beds, and I figure since he's kind of getting around the twilight of his life, we'll give him some of this other stuff. Yeah, Wazuh. Yeah, we'll play with that. Platform scene. Let's see what they've got going on here. Let's go to their platform. Documentation. Let's see if they have. So there's the minimum and how much you need for each gig for 90 days. So however many servers I'm going to be monitoring, I guess we're going to have this. So are we going to be putting, let's see, does this have an agent with it? Looks like there's an indexer. Certification, creation. Build that. Then we'll put the nodes in here. Nodes, which are going to be there. Has an agent, okay. Core utils, it looks like, and then we'll. All right. Doesn't look too terrible. We're going to be using Yum or DNF. Give it a repo. Turn on the indexer for the cluster, and then we should be able to hit it at that IP. All right. This is very similar to any of our other Types of installs. All right, so I just want to see, so single node, multi-node cluster, and then includes the Wazuh manager and FileBeat. Okay, so they use FileBeat as well. All right, so it's FileBeat that forwards things. Okay, this is going to be one other tool. Then okay, yeah, yum install FileBeat. If you have more than one indexer, you can send it to more than one. We just have the one. Now, interesting. Okay. So I wonder how that was different than this one that I was in. This was the original one I was looking at. And this was the indexer step by step. And then this one was the Interesting. So I wonder why the one Interesting. Hey Enzo Bear, how's it going? And easy money? Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it looks like I should be able to set it up pretty easy here. It looks easy enough. Let's see. It's got a good GUI on it. All right. We'll give it a shot. Let's first decide where we're going to put it. And then I have a Rocky K8s, which I'm pretty sure from my original creation of this, it's I'm pretty sure this is a hardened image. Yeah, because I had Rocky template down here that I had built, and then this was my base Rocky. This was my base Rocky for my K8. So let me think. So that's it set up for Kubernetes, which I could build a new one. Just gotta decide how we want to do this. Excuse me, if we just want to use it from a template, or if we want to. I don't have any other good templates. Excuse me for that. Oh, we could do it in Amazon Linux too. I didn't even think about doing it in there. Now we'll do it in a Rocky node, and we'll harden the node because sometimes people like to see the hardening process. So we'll do the kind of hardening process as we build it. So let's just build a new box. We'll just do it as a whole new VM, and the new system. We'll just say the closest thing on here to probably what we want it to look like. Oh, hold on. No, we don't have one. Probably the closest thing to Rocky 9 of anything that's up here is probably going to be CentOS 8. I mean, there's nothing else, or even RHEL 8, but I don't really have anything else that's kind of close. So we'll just leave it like that, and then we'll say Rocky. What are we going to call this? This will be Wazuh. And I sometimes give it the IP that it's going to be in the name. So let's go look at that real quick. VI Etsy hosts, and we'll just come down here, and do we have anything in 183? Nope. So nothing in 183. This will be Wazuh. And real quick, let's ping. I always just like to make sure there's nothing on that. All right, there's nothing in the environment on that. Nothing grabbed that. That's outside of my normal DHCP range, so that's fair. And let's just call it 183 in case we need that name later. We're going to go ahead and install it from. We got Rocky 9.4 ISO, so we'll install it. We don't normally do this if we have a hardened template, but since I don't have a hardened template on this one, we'll just do it. Place the VM on this box. It's fine. They want at least 4 CPU. Well, they don't want 4. We'll go 4 and 8. That should be fine, I think. No GPU, and we're going to give it a little more than 10 gig. Now, from our recommendations here, hold on. For our recommendations for 90 days worth of storage, I saw that you should give it, where was it at down here? For 90 days worth of storage, right? Per server, you want 3.7 gigs. And we've got about 20 gigs in the environment. Sorry, 20 gigs, about 20 servers in the environment. So just being safe with that, probably make that somewhere around maybe 100 gigs. Right? And we'll throw that on lab storage, which has 645 gigs free, so that should be fine. Build it out. Leave all the lab stuff there. All right, start the VM automatically, sure. We're going to build it here in a second anyways and get it on the network the way that it needs to be. So we're going to let that go, and then we'll, this is the Wazuh indexer. And this is the I see. So the first one's the indexer. We're going to need the indexer first. We'll put that up. Simbleed, have you worked with LSM over Newman nodes? I have not. AppArmor, LSM, but SE Linux lost powerful K8s. Yep. And SE Linux only got rolled into K8s, I think, like 2 versions ago, too. All right. Whoops. Let's see if our node comes up. All right. We don't want to test it. We're just going to install it. And we're going to give ourselves all the stuff we need, give it an IP address, get this up. And then once we have it up, have the IP address on it, we'll push the keys over to it, and we won't need to be at the console anymore, right? Doing stuff from the console, not great for our ability to kind of document it and keep track of what we're doing, right? That's not really the best way of doing it. So anyways, let's let that boot up, and then since we don't have anything else for this node, we'll build this up. Maybe we'll harden it, and then we'll take this and we'll turn it into a template on this node. So then we have, well, it'll be fine. We just have to edit it if we're doing anything in the future. That's fine. Not a big deal, guys. Not a real big deal for anything that we're working on. All right. Oh, also, where's my... There we go. All right. Let that thing start up. Again, normally we don't build things like this from scratch, but it's a home lab and we're not working too hard today, so that's fine. We'll get it going, and then we'll go from there. Where is our Discord? Looks like stuff's popping up over there, so that's good. All right. Let this thing install, or start the install process. We're going to still have to go through the Anaconda installer, but that's fine. That'll be fun. Also, Enzo Bear, if I missed you, what I'm working on right now is I was asking in Discord like what people wanted me to work on, and the last couple days I've just been kind of brain dumping on you guys about Linux, but nobody really answered. I think one person answered and said that they'd rather see me do more just lab build out stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll do lab build out stuff. So I'm building out the home lab. I was cleaning stuff up earlier and trying to get some other connections working that I wasn't really too concerned with, but now I'm just going to keep building this out, and then we're gonna install the Wazuh indexer, and I just kind of want to see what it looks like, kind of see what the the load on the system is and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I'll be interested to see kind of how it goes. Installer should be starting. All right. Find with certificates, start the service on the one, start the cluster up. Get the server up. Now we can go check out this dashboard. All right, keep all the defaults. It can be English. I feel like that should have a semicolon at the end of it. Will that work? Seems weird that you would do that in one command like that. All right, okay. I just wanted to see what the agent install looked like. So indexer to start. And then we'll go from there. All right, keyboard installation source, destination, we'll give it a disk. And let's go ahead and see what it's going to do for us carving it up, if we allow it to. Automatic. It's always going to say, are you sure you want to do that? And we're fine with this disk summary here. Where's the... Okay, that's fine. We could carve it manually, but we're not super worried about that. Let's put our root password in. Then we'll, the bare minimum for this system, when we go look at our software, we do not want a server with the GUI ever. We always just want a server. And then over here, if we need any specialized tools, I'm going to say this probably doesn't need any specialized tools because we're going to install what we need. But I will say that I tend to put security tools on there, and I tend to put system tools on there. Even if I don't have any of these other things. I don't really need any of this stuff. Plus, you can always install the packages later. You want to do kind of a minimum install when you first build stuff out, typically. So let that go. We don't need a user because we're just going to log in as the root user. We can just give it the network connection now. So the network's already connected, but we're going to say, no, you're going to be a very specific one. We're not going to allow IPv4 settings to be automatic. We're going to let them be manual. DNS servers will be 192. That's annoying. 192.168.11.1, and does it say that we can do commas separate them? 8.8.8.8 is also one that's fine as well. Search domains, don't care. We're going to add an address. The address is going to be 192.168.11.183. The net mask is going to be /24 or 255, and 192.168.11.1 will be the default gateway for that. All right, save that. We should see it here. Should have a DNS, should have all the stuff it needs. All right, we'll say done. We didn't have to set that up now, but we could, so we did. Time and date, we will leave it in the Phoenix time zone because that's where all my other servers are, but a lot of times we just set servers to UTC out in the industry. So I'm okay with them being there because that's where all my other nodes are. But a lot of times I just use UTC for everything at work, so it really depends. Home lab, don't care nearly as much. But I do want them all to be the same because your logging will be shit if everything's different. So what am I seeing here? Oh, one of my brothers is walking for his master's degree in June, so that's good. He's getting a master's degree in data analytics and stuff. So he also works in the data analytics space. He's come and talked to the group before. Some of you guys have seen him in Discord. My brother Tom, he works in that space as well for a big insurance company. So actually, and it's a different big insurance company than I worked for. So you guys hear me talk about how me and my brother John worked at a big insurance company, and my brother Tom still works at a big insurance company, but it's a different one. So yeah, he's getting his master's in it, and I told him, I'm like, dude, like, because he finally got in the industry a few years back. He's been working for that company for like 22 years now, but he had come up through like the agent and the manager route, and everybody always used his stuff that he would build, all of his pivot tables and stuff, and then he got into doing like Power BI and stuff, and he got pretty good at that. So then they moved him over eventually into data analytics. And I told him, I'm like, dude, they're not going to be able to pay you like the way a company can pay you like a 6% increase like this, but his value is going to go like this in the industry. So I was telling him, you know, he's going to leave there. He's pretty loyal to them. He's going to finish out 2 more years to get he gets a full, he's on, what are those things called? Like a full pension with them. He'll get a full pension with them. But he also will, I mean, he's only 40, so he's kind of young, but he will be able to take that. And then I told him he can go anywhere and probably make like twice as much as he's making now with them, because they're barely paying him, not even anywhere close to what he's worth, especially for what he can do with Power BI and his data analytics stuff. So, all right, let's let this go, and then we'll get in there and mess with it. We'll let that build while we're working on other stuff, I guess. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to how that's going to look with like the agent indexing a box, and then I'm kind of curious to see kind of what our environment shows and that kind of stuff, because I haven't ever played with this tool, so we'll see what it kind of looks like. Yeah, he uses Power BI. He also uses he uses Python. He uses some of the more open stuff too, but his company pays for Power BI, so he uses that because it's a pretty powerful little tool. So, excuse me. Let's go check on Ranger again. How's Ranger doing? Just laying there. Yeah, he does Python, he does SQL, he does all that stuff. That's kind of where his... That's weird. Don't normally see ping going this high. Alright, well. We get what we get, I guess. Let's see, that's gonna take a little while to build. So while that's building, I guess we'll go and just check on what else is going on here. We've got that stuff we could eventually work on. I did say that we were going to take all these nodes and flip them back over off of the troubleshooting nodes that we had set up, and then we could just put all the nodes back into the normal pool of nodes for users to have. I guess we can do that. My internet provider is Cox. I have two internet providers into my home in Phoenix here. I have Cox and I have a CenturyLink account, so I have two different internet coming into my house. And the reason is because when the beginning of COVID happened, and since I'm an engineer, I just couldn't be offline. And Cox was down in 2020 in my area at least 8 times, like serious outages. So I had CenturyLink, so I could just pop over to that network and then use CenturyLink. And I just pay for both of them into the house. And then you might say, well, doesn't it get expensive? It's like one's $90 and one is like $60, isn't that? And I'd say, yeah, well, I mean, that's fine, but like my college pays me $60 a month for internet or something, the college that I teach at, and then I think my work also gives me like a $50 or $60 stipend, so it kind of covers some of that extra stuff. CenturyLink and Cox, wear my teeth. Those are the two. I have two that come in. My primary one is Cox, and then I have a secondary one downstairs for CenturyLink, but I can connect to either of them, so I hop in between them. This is not download. This is just on the server here. This is NFS between the node and the NFS ISO drive, which is coming off of the host box. So this is not coming off the internet here. The slowness of this is simply NFS ISO read times over. I guess it is over the internal network because they are separate boxes. It's reading off of this node here, hostbox. Hostbox feeds SSH to all the environment. Right, and there's the ISOs. And there's the ISO that it's reading from right there. So that's mounted for all of my different cluster devices to be able to basically just put an NFS ISO into any server that I needed to boot. Right, so I can boot any of my servers to any of these if I needed to. Right. Some of you guys have seen me build like Kali. I haven't like built Kali in the lab for a while, but there's all my Kali stuff from like years past and stuff. I think I've kept this one because this is the one that's actually, it says in the kernel that it was built by Windows. I'm pretty sure that's why I kept this one for so long, because I thought that was funny. All right, we'll let that build. Where's he at? Yeah, he's just build. He's over here building. Tangible Code, thanks for the follow. I know it was a while ago. I didn't think I was even up that. Oh, I wasn't even on when he followed. All right, but we're building stuff out in the home lab, and we're not working too hard, but we are getting stuff built out. We're gonna try this Wazuh tool and see. I don't know. I haven't played with it to see what's going on with it, so we'll get it installed and see what's going on with it. It's taking its time though. All right, so let's say my server is 192.168.11.183, right? In Etsy hosts, I got it in there. So then the server was just Wazuh. And then I guess it could be Wazuh 183. Storage, we gave it 100 gigs, right? And let's say host. The host box is the name of the node that it's on. So if I cared about that, he's over on xcp-ng-acb TQSR. I didn't name these. I probably should have given them better names, but I did. I just let it do the default naming scheme for them. So that's where that's going to be, and our install looks like it's roughly going to follow these steps here. So it's going to be indexer, and then it's going to be server. That's going to be dashboard. Right, those are going to be the install steps here that we're going to follow. And then we're going to have agents, and you know, what nodes we want to test on to start and do all that kind of stuff. So these are just our kind of notes as we're waiting on stuff. Like what are we going to do? And what are we going to kind of make it look like? Recommended operating systems. Red Hat Enterprise 9 is basically what we're on, because Rocky 9.4 is basically that. So that'll be fine. Hardware, servers, workstation. Okay. Let's get over here, and then we'll start setting this up when we got it. We will put it in its own little op directory. I'm only going to have the one node to start, so we're not going to have a huge cluster. Yeah, we're just going to have the one. It'll all be the same node. We won't set up a whole bunch of different ones. Those will all be the same. Then we'll install. How's it going, Miami, over on, or Miami? I don't know if that's how you want me to say that, on the YouTube side. We're just looking at this install, and we're building a box out to run this on. So we're going to do this. So here's our indexer portion, right? And then we'll have kind of what we do as we build it, right, and our configs and stuff. And then we'll have our server portion, which will be after. Once you get all done with this, you go down and you do the server one. So could have sworn this is what we were already at, but what is this one? This is the assisted installation. So you could put all these in place and then just install, and it'll generate the configs and everything for you. Okay. Dexter nodes. Okay, and then you'll download that and use that same config file. And then do the cluster. Okay, that makes sense. Then you make sure that everything's up and running, and okay. And then you get rid of the updates. Yeah, you don't want things updated. Yeah, we could use that one. So that'll give us our indexer, our server. Okay. I think this will be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Shouldn't be too hard. We're just gonna put the IPs in here. They're all gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same indexer, the same everything. All right. Install's taking longer than maybe we expected, but that's not that big a deal. Oh, I probably need to move that so it's not over my voice. There we go. All right. What are we doing then while we wait? I guess we'll just keep playing with the nodes in the home lab then. What do we want to do? We want to take these and we can put them all back. Yeah, Akshanya, that's fine. You can drop. You're welcome to hang out as long as you want or take off. I'm going to go set these back to be on the so the troubleshoot nodes that we had done. We're going to move them all back to be normal lab nodes. So if we do a history and then just grep for wwctl, we should see how we were setting those, how I was setting the different containers. There was where we were building it. There was us containerizing it. Where did I actually set it? Node set. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to set those containers back on each of these different nodes, right? And I don't know what just happened there. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Let's go here. We're going to change these all back to the original. Where's he at? We'll put them all on this. So 11 through 16 are going back to this. And we can do them individually like this. We can also do ranges. So I'm okay with just doing them like this because I like to see them. And again, you can do ranges if you want, but I've had them be hit or miss with the ranges. So like, let's say I wanted to do 11 through 12 now, right? And then it'll tell me, you're modifying 2 nodes. Are you sure? And I would say yes. We do a wctl node list -a grep-i for container. And we would see that they're all set. 11 and 12 though did not. So again, it's very hit or miss. It said it was doing 2 nodes and then it didn't do them. So 12 and then just see, okay, now they're all on there. We're going to do wctl overlay build, and we'll just build the overlay for all the nodes. Oh yeah, Bobby said not really on topic, but been browsing the Rocky guides and was so impressed with their guides on their docs. Yeah, let me tell you, the when we did our SE Linux in this Linux system admin course, I had everybody go reference their SE Linux portion because the Rocky docs do have really good write-ups on how like each individual part of the OS works. 100%. They're a pretty good resource for that. All right, I need to reboot those nodes now. So check it out. I can do this. I can say let's do this real quick. We'll just say vi etc Ansible hosts, and then I'm just gonna say remediate, and remediate is gonna be Rocky, and we'll do 11 to 16, right? And we'll just leave it at that, and then I'm gonna say Ansible remediate, and we'll go for -m shell -a uptime. And we'll just see that we're going to hit those nodes, right, real quick with Ansible. And 12, 11, 15, 13. Okay, good. And then we just come here, and we can use a module to reboot them, but I'm just going to reboot them this way. It's a little different, but it's not that big of a deal. They're going to go all reboot. That's fine. And then we can wait for those nodes to come back up. Also, if we didn't want to watch this install, let's reboot the system and let's empty the DVD before it comes back up. We could go over here and we could watch like Rocky 11 boot, and we can see it come up. If you guys haven't seen the iPixie process where it comes up and it finds itself on the network. I know that's a little bright, but it'll go dark here in a second. Should go dark when the console starts to boot. Well, console should start to boot here in a second. Oh, Q, man, not the coloring book. No, not the coloring book. We didn't do the coloring book. But there is a coloring book if you struggle with SE Linux. Yeah, I was at Red Hat conference once, and I said something, and one of their execs was like, "In what version of Red Hat are we on now?" Because I mentioned most of us turned it off in version 4. And he goes, "In what version of Red Hat are we on now?" And it was like 8 at the time. And I was like, "Yeah, has anything changed in SE Linux?" Because SE Linux hasn't changed. So, you're going, Q? Yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, that last one I was at was 2019, and it was right after they got bought. So I was there 2019 at the beginning, and they had just been bought by IBM. And I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, here. Okay, see, this one is coming up. He has found that he is Rocky 12. This one should be seeing that he is Rocky 11 if he actually boots. Yeah, there we go. So we should see this one boot and see that he's a Rocky 11 box. Yep, there he is. He's Rocky 11. Good. All right, so those are booting and those are coming up, and should be good times. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. Let me go back here. Studio mode. That. I'm gonna put my little. Where's my little timer at? Oh, I guess it doesn't really matter. I can just pull the timer up on this one. the hourglass up. While that's booting, take a break and check on Ranger. Say break and check on Ranger. How's Ranger doing? How's Ranger doing? Ranger's just laying there. And he's not quite on camera. You can't quite see his face. He's just off camera. Oh, it's back in Boston again? That's where it was when I went, Q. That's interesting. The weirdest thing about Boston, so when we were there, before I take my break, when we were there, it was when Uber and Lyft did a strike in early 2019. If you guys recall, there was like a strike. So there was like very few. So there was a bunch of people that wanted to move around without rentals in the city of Boston. And there were very few cars and like cabs to do it with. So that was kind of weird. And then also, not just that, but there was there was a fair amount of, man, we were only like 3.5 miles from the convention center. And it was like, I remember counting, it was only like 3 or 4 miles. And it was like 18 turns to get there. I was like, I could not. And going under the river there or the lake or whatever it is where you go underneath the water, you'd go under it twice to get where we were going. I'm like, there's no way that's the most efficient route, but that's Boston. Boston's basically like a game of, I don't know what to compare Boston with. It's just definitely a strange map of streets and back alleys and stuff to get anywhere. So it was kind of, yeah, it was interesting to say the least. So, all right, I'm gonna start my little timer. I'm gonna go take a little walk, grab me some water because I've been drinking Monsters, and I'll come back in. We'll keep building stuff out. Maybe Ranger will move a little bit. We'll see. But we'll get some more stuff done hopefully in the home lab. So yeah, hopefully you guys like this stuff. I mean, we're just doing different things, and mostly I just get on to tell you guys that there's a Linux group out there that you can go hang out with and talk about professional stuff for the most part. All right, I'll be back. All right, I got my water bottles. All right, got a little bit of time. Nodes are back up. Check on those. See which nodes are back responding now. All right, all nodes are servers. Servers should all be up. All servers, if I can spell right. All nodes should be back up, and we should be ready to go. But we're on break, so feel free to take a break. And when we come back, we'll go back to doing our stuff. Now, there was some talk, or you guys had wanted, there was a little bit of interest, I think. I'll move this down a little bit, pop myself back on, even though we're kind of still on break. Put my camera back on. Pull that back up like that. Good. Got that if I need it. Can't answer that for money. Love that thing. Some of you guys had or wanted me to show the setup of like the C router and the Rocky and Werewolf nodes, like the whole cluster that we have in the environment. And I have no problem doing that. We'd just be doing it down on this box, and we would build it basically in its own network. So we've got the 192.168.11 network in my home lab, and then I've got the 192.168.200, which is where everybody jumps into for the current cluster. But I thought about using this node over here as what we call like a hammer block zone. And some of you guys have never heard of hammer blocks, so I'll tell you what it is. It's something we used to do in at Lockheed Martin. And I was talking to one of my other buddies about it, and we don't know the exact origin of the term hammer block. We're not exactly sure why they picked that name, but we're just going to keep it and use it. We think it had something to do with the actual hardware that we were hitting, but we're not sure. Anyways, it was a free-range environment for us to go try to take over other boxes. Basically like a free-range, just root this box type environment. And you could get points over like seasons. We had like these seasons. And my team took first out of about I think 400 or 500 engineering teams for the U.S. And then, because Lockheed only allowed people in the U.S. to do it. And then we took third the second time we did it. So we took first the first time and third the second time. And we won these awards and stuff. It was kind of cool. But the point is, we thought about running that outside here for people and show you guys kind of what one of those competitions looked like. It would be very similar to like what people call CTFs now, but it would be a little bit different. There's a little bit of a different spin to it because there's objectives built in. And it's but it's still free range. You could attack other people's servers. You can attack anything in the environment is fair game to attack as long as it's within the environment. So that's kind of a fun little thing that we used to do at Lockheed Martin back in the day. And my team was pretty good at it. Robbie's came and talked to you guys before. He was the guy that he kind of pulled the whole team together. And he's over. I just saw that he got promoted the other day. So. That's kind of cool. I saw that on LinkedIn. He's the president of his company now. He was the director of engineering, but now he's the president of his company. So I think they got a few hundred people over there. So it's a pretty good sized company to be in charge of. So Gergen, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. How's it going over on the YouTube side? We're still on break right now. So I took a quick break so that I could go grab some water bottles. And then we're going to get back to it. But we were just talking through some stuff as we were kind of getting ready. A lot of this stuff with Linux is by nature security, even though you're not calling yourself some elite hacksaw. It's just that you're doing security native to everything you're doing as a security or as a Linux engineer. So I guess it's kind of interesting. But anyway, so we will probably build that in. We've got a new course coming out in the Professional Linux Users Group, which, by the way, the courses on there are always free. And those courses over there are, the next one we're going to do is just securing Linux. It's just going to be security on all levels for the operating system, right? So, all right, let's check on Ranger one more time before we go. Oh, there's his face. He's a sleepy dog. I bought him a new bed today. I sent a picture of it to the wife, and she's like, why? And I'm like, Because he's an old dog, right? Like, we'll give him another bed. He'll have another bed back here soon. And it looks like, so this one already kind of looks like a couch because it's got like 3 edges of a border. But this other one is like even more couch-like. And it's an orthopedic bed, which is what this one is. And they're really, really like soft foam. Like they're real supportive too, even though they're very soft. So, all right. Anyways, we're giving Ranger the opportunity to be a little comfortable in his later years. Let's go see how this node's building. All right, it says that we're up. So let's log in real quick. Make sure. A few things on the box. I'm going to do IP-BR-ADDR, which will do 192.168.11.183. Okay. If this works right here, I should be able to come over here like this, right? No, nothing up my sleeves, no tricks or anything. I should be able to go to my environment here, pop over here, come out of here, SSH2, right? We should be able to do Wazuh because we gave it a name. And then it'll ask us for the password, and we'll get it. No, we can't get in, so we're not quite ready yet. Let's go check here. Let's vi etc ssh sshd underscore config, and let's look for root and capital root. And it said right here, permit root login, prohibit password. We're going to change that to yes, because in our home lab environment, we understand the security risks. We do know that normally we wouldn't be okay with root logging in, but we're going to do systemctl restart sshd. Come over here, and we're going to try to SSH again. And now we can get in. Then we're going to exit out, and we're going to do a couple of things to this node. We're going to SSH copy ID to Wazuh. And what is this going to do? So have you guys ever seen how copy by ID or the SSH copy ID works? Does everybody know kind of what that process looks like or what you're actually doing there? Do you guys want to see it? Anybody want to see it? So, you know, you've got a key-based authentication you want to have between these two nodes. And the way we used to have to do it is I'd have to SCP the key from here, the public key, over to that node. And then I would go put it in that node in an authorized files under root's home directory. So it would be /root.sh authorized keys, and it would be a public key, right? But now, and that's how you used to have to do it. And then when you did that, you'd have to set the permissions, and you'd have to make sure the directory permissions were all fine. But now, this thing will do it all for us. So watch this real quick. Over here, I'm on root, and I'm in the home directory. I know you can't see it very well. If I do an ls-l, ls-al, there's a .ssh, and if I cd to .ssh here, ls-al, there's like nothing in here. Nothing in here. But watch this. I'm going to do one command over here. I'm just going to do my SSH copy ID to Wazuh. And I need to put the password in once. And that's going to push the keys over to this other node, right? Oh, if I do my password right. If I don't fat finger my password. Okay, now if I look here, there is this authorized keys. And if I do a more on authorized keys, it's some value. Don't worry, it's the public key. But if I go down here to root.ssh, ls-l, then it is this public right here. If I do a more on id underscore rsa .pub. I know this is a little small, but just suffice it to say at the end here, I've got a capital BMBN1 right there. I know it's really small, but the point is now, this box, I can just SSH over to Wazuh now, and then I can exit, and I can SSH over, and I'm good. Now, I see one other glaring error with this node. I need to do hostname CTL set name to Wazuh. So this node, is that hostname? Hostname CTL. What is that? Oh, it's just hostname apparently. What is it? It's oh yeah, it's hostname like that. All right. And then I exit and I go back in, and there it is. Now that device sees himself the correct way. Yeah, only allow SSH via SH key on my YubiKeys. Yeah, Linux, that's a good way to do it for sure. Yeah, so yeah, the set of commands for people is just simply this. You just do SSH copy ID to that node, and then it'll push it all over there. The way we used to have to go do it was we'd have to come in here and we'd have to grab the public version of this key. We'd go push it over there, and then we'd go into the root.ssh, and then we would put it in the authorized keys file on its own line, right? Copy it over, put it on its own line. That's what you used to do. Yeah, so, I mean, there's some things that are happening here, which is this is why it's nice to not have to do that by hand anymore. If I do an ls-al, authorized keys needs to be 600, has to be, will not work otherwise. ls-ld, roots.ssh directory must be 700 or less, or this won't work. The key over here, so if you were making them here, my SSH directory here has to be 700 or less, or it won't work. And my ID RSA key has to be 600 or less. Well, 600 is 600 or 400. Those are the only options for this one to work with SSH. Or SSH will break on this side, and SSH will break on that side, and you won't have the communication. All those things I just mentioned, if they were going like this over your head, that's fine. You don't care anymore because you now have this tool. Does that make sense? Like, it used to be like 7 or 8 steps for us back in the early admin and engineering days to do that. But now it's just, you just have a tool that'll do it. So that's why I tell you guys, learn your tools. Understand the underlying way things work, because when things break, when things break, you need to know how to fix it, right? And if a user can't get their key, just go grab their public one and go throw it in there and it'll all work for them. But that being said, so WadiaSoft, you do have to do an SSH key gen first. I already had a key though. Yeah, you do have to generate a key. And I do have a lab that teaches you guys how to generate keys in the Killer Coda site. So if you ever need to generate keys, go through. We've got a little Killer Coda site that's free. It's called. You just go to our labs section, which is there. I'll link it to you guys over on the YouTube side as well, so you guys have them. Those are the labs that I've written and the labs that Fisherman's written. There's some pretty good labs in there, I think. Fisherman's labs are kind of adversarial, and they make you like you get dropped in as like a first day as like a Linux systems administrator, and he just makes you go through a bunch of tasks that you're probably going to get as work tickets. And I think his labs are pretty good for that stuff for sure. So, all right, that's all good there. That's all good. Okay, let me see where the wife's at. The wife she was doing something, but I think she's coming home soon. So. She was working on somebody's hair. My wife like colors her friend's hair and cuts it for him and stuff. She's done that stuff for a long time. Let's see. How is it going? 9 p.m. still. Yeah, I think she's coming home around 9 p.m. So I got a little bit more time playing around here. All right, all that to say, now we have access to our box. So SSH to Wazuh. And here's the system. Now, some of you guys have noticed we'll do fun things in the lab. Do you guys want to make like a fun little banner for this box so we always know? This is dumb stuff, but some people like personalization like this. But I think it's fun too sometimes. Let's go look on the. Where's it at? Let's go ASCII art, and this guy's great. I'm gonna link him to you. I think his stuff is probably like some of the best stuff on the web right here for like if you just need big stuff. And let's say we wanted Ogre, Troubleshoot, but now I want Wazuh, right? Because this is going to be our Wazuh server. But now I just want to see all of them. Show me all of them. Now, they're not all like great. Some of them are more fun than others. Some are hardly readable. That one's pretty good. Blocks are pretty good. That one would be very hard to read on a black background because it would be inverted to white. That wouldn't be super readable. Look, cards? Nah. I like Ogre. Ogre's actually a pretty decent one. Like, that's a bit big, but that's not going to fit in a lot of people's terminals. Like, some of your Unix and Linux admins like to work in pretty small terminals. So this one's not going to be great. That's just going to be noise on the screen. That one would be pretty clean, right? Pretty clean looking. And we could grab these, right? And I can copy them. And all I got to do is VI my Etsy banner, MOTD, right? And then I can just drop it in there real quick. SHN, and there's my little banner message today. And I go, that one looks okay. Let's keep messing around. See if there's any other ones. I kind of like that ogre one, the way it looks. That one's okay. It's a little flash cordony. It's called graffiti, so. All right, you can get the names too, and then you can use the names if you go look in here later. Let's go find one. By the way, guys, you don't spend a lot of time. You don't go spend a lot of time in here like messing around when you're at work, but when you're in the home lab, you do. Here's ogre. That's what it would look like in our ogre one. That's not much different than blocks, right? That's not much different than blocks at all. Let's grab this one. Oh, I deleted the top line accidentally. So that's the difference between blocks on the top and ogre on the bottom, right? No, we're deep into messing around here, guys. Right? Like we're not taking this super serious. That one doesn't look bad, although I'd have a hard time telling A from O probably. That one's slant. It's for you guys that like to move real fast. I don't mind small. I don't mind small slant. I don't mind standard at all. That one looks fine. This one would probably look pretty fine. This is Star Wars. That's fun. Anyways, the point is you got like a whole bunch of them. Yeah, this is a pretty fun little one. I tell people about this one often. I wish he might actually have, you probably could hit this as just as an API call, and you'd probably be able to get that back as ASCII art. So that might be kind of fun to test. Take off the test all and just do ogre and that and see if it comes back. Like open up like a what's that tool, Postman, or I use Insomnia a lot of times when I do that. Yeah, this is a fun little one. Oh, there's so many ASCII art, so many ways to do these. I found one time and I didn't keep it, and I really should have. I think I might have posted in the Discord. But it does all of the whatever you want as like the ASCII art, but then it has like a castle in the background. And it has a whole bunch of different generated castles that people have made. You can find them. You just Google them. Look at Ranger. Ranger's looking around. This is like the most active he's been all day, guys. Look, and then I'm just an old tired dog. I'm gonna lay back down. God, that dog, man. He is super, super old and lazy. All right. I think we'll leave both of them, right? We'll leave both of them. Now we got to get to actually doing the work. So let's go build. Let's go actually pull up the Wazuh site as we are doing our install here. Put this here, move this down a little bit, and let's see if we can do, there's an assisted install method where we can do whatever we want. Let's go CD, actually let's check some things. df-h gives us in our home directory, we've got home and we've got 60 gigs, and that's in our root directory rather. Our home directory is 30 gigs. We probably should have looked at that and carved this up differently, but that's fine. If we need to add more, we can add more directly to root home by just adding disks and then putting them in there. This is a tool that allows you to do like seam management in your environment, Rima, and I have not messed with it yet. And I'm just kind of installing it just for something to do. Some of the guys said that they wanted to see me do more stuff in the home lab, so I was like, all right, well, that's what I'm going to do. All right, let's go CD over to opt. And I like to put things in their own directories, so we'll go to Wazuh, and then now we're down in here. And we're going to download, we're going to pull some of this stuff down. Hey, Wadiasoft, thanks for the subscription. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Keeps me motivated, keeps you guys from seeing ads, so that's always kind of fun. Watch this real quick. We've got some of the information, but now we're going to go download. Look, they have two little things for us to curl right here. So we're just going to curl the two packages that they want. Boom. This will be a script installer, and this will be a config file. Pretty straightforward, it seems like. And here they are. And then if we more the config, we'll get the same thing that we saw down here. And it looks like what we need to do here is put together an indexer, a server, and a dashboard. Now, this might be a surprise to you guys, but the systems are all going to be exactly the same. We're not going to have a bunch of different indexers and a bunch of different dashboards and a bunch of different stuff. So we're actually just going to call these all Wazuh. Right? Let's make them all Wazuh. They're all going to be the same. And maybe they do want us to, here, hold on. We can leave it, maybe that's the name relative to the system internally, so we'll just leave those as they are. We can always probably change them later. And let's give them the IP address for the indexer nodes, which is going to be 192.168.11.183 in our environment. Now we can go YYP, and then we can do P here, DD, YY, and then we can do a P here, and a DD there. So now there's all the IPs, right? Escape, :WQ. And it says there then that if that's all good, this will generate the config files for the cluster right here, right? And then it'll be down in Wazuh install files tar. So let's try it. Let's see how well their installer works on a newer version of the system. Let's see what actually happens here. It's going to generate all the certificates. So this means we don't have to do all that step-by-step certificate stuff. We can still go look at that if we want. But now it says that it did all that stuff and it set up all the things that we need, which would have been in the next part, right? Here's our indexer node installation. So we would go to each of those and run that with a copy of the tar, right? Okay, we don't need to set any of that up because we already have it all set up. And then it says that we should be able to run the following command to get the admin password. Let's see. Oh, also, let me just check a few things. Didn't turn anything on yet, so that's good. It does say that, so now we got to start the cluster, right? So let's try that real quick. Make sure that it can start, right? And then we'll go grab the password so that we can get into that device, right? Verifying that your system meets the recommended minimum hardware requirements has taken longer than I would have hoped, so maybe we don't. Maybe we do, we'll see. Yeah. So, over here on our install, what did I do? I made a directory in Wazuh. And then I did a couple of really simple things. I CD'd into that directory, and then I just ran. So we CD'd into Wazuh. Now you might say, Scott, that's a little simple. You went a little too simple there. If you made the directory, I know you're going to move into it. And I say, yeah, sure. But later on, when somebody else, some junior engineer comes later in my lab to build this thing for me, and I don't do that specific thing, or I go to automate it later, and I forget the context of where I'm at, and I don't tell Ansible to write into that directory, now I have problems. So I do this stuff. Use a lot of RAM. Hold on. 490, 200. Okay, hold on. Did we not start the indexer? We needed to start the indexer first. It was my bad, I jumped over something. So we're going to start the indexer first, that was my bad, and then we're going to start the server. So we're doing it on the same node, so that makes sense. I had skipped over that part. So, real quick, if we're looking at the things that we did these two curls here, right? So get the software, and that was this. And these are my high level notes of like what I did, right? For edit the Wazuh, the config.yaml or YML. And then my config.yaml, I can drop the whole thing here if I wanted to. And it looked kind of like this, right? In my environment. And then 4, 5. So the next one would be 5. I could even move all that in if we needed to. Nah, that's fine. All right. Okay. And then where are we at? That thing looks like, hold on. In our looking at this, did we generate the config files? Yeah, I feel like we did the generate the config files. So then we did this. Now you might say, Scott, hold on a second. Aren't you just copying it right from the web page? And I say, yes, but I'm also customizing it for what we did in our version of this. How did I display that cool dev on the screen? Are you talking about this one here? Talking like this one? Mr. TA, is that what you're wondering? That one? We actually were just looking at this. We used a tool to generate some ASCII art, and then we just dropped it in the Etsy MOTD. If that's what you're talking about. Yeah, Links developer, thanks for coming by. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. And then Mr. TA, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. All we did, if you missed it, was just this link right here. I'll relink it over on the YouTube side. You just go in there, and then on that page, I'll link it up right here. It'll just look like this. And then you just say, like in this case, we were doing Wazuh. And then you just hit test all, and it'll just generate every ASCII art that you could want. And then you just grab the version you want and drop it in your Etsy MOTD like that. And then we were doing, in this case, okay, so this is kind of annoying to me that they did it like this, but hold on. I'm going to Control C it. Let's go. I'm going to hit no. I'm going to let it keep running. Wazuh installed us. I just want to background it, right? We'll let that background so it's out of the way. ss-ntulp, and let's look to see if, okay, so it is listening on the 183, on 9300 and 9200. Okay, so now we should be able to do that next part, which is to start the cluster. And also, I probably should have put that again backgrounded. Hold on, let me stop that. No. Ampersand background. All right, get it as a background, so now it's out of the way, and it can just go on in the background. So start. Start the indexer, and that one was this step here. This one that's my preferred way of doing it, so it's backgrounded. And then 7 is all right. Just say -O, overwrite everything. All right, and then this is start the server, and then that's this other cluster, start the cluster. That'll be this one right here. Now all that crap's backgrounded, right? And we should see node indexer, and then we should see the Wazuh indexer. Probably looks like it's still being installed, so that's probably taking its time. I wonder if that Probably give that, yeah, it looks like it's stopped right now. We'll give that a little bit of time because we started it with the -O to overwrite. So we'll give it a little time to catch up. It looks like the system's under some load. All right, let's go ahead and let that, done those things, done that. And then configure the Wazuh indexer nodes. That should be good. Cluster initialization should be good. And then we should be able to, when we're ready, go test this. And there's admin and there's our password, right? And then we should be able to curl it once it's started. Yeah, that's not started yet. We'll give it a second here. Yeah, looks like it's still going. Oh, this is the net effect of anytime you're using Java. I don't know how much any of you guys have supported Java in Linux environments, but this seems to be here we go. All right, looks like stuff's almost done. Oh, looks like they're both done finally. All right, so now it's finally listening again, and we should see the let's go start the cluster again just to make sure. I have a feeling that was not. I have a feeling that was not started all the way yet. Hey, Outcast and Wonder, how's it going? We're not working too hard tonight. We're just kind of building out this Wazuh tool that we wanted to play with a little bit. And again, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but that looks like what it is. I'm just going to let that run. All right. So if we've set that all up right, we'll always start it like that, the first build. Yep. Then hopefully this will finish and then I won't have to kill it. Up the W tool. All right, it says the cluster started. So Wazuh says it's running. We see it running here. We see it listening. And then it says that if it's all started, we should be able to go get that password here, right? Whoops. And there's our password, right? So that was our command to get that, get the password. This password's not going to matter outside of the context of this little test install, so we can put it here. But get password for check, and then we'll just drop that in there. Again, you don't normally save passwords, but if you're just like, it's going to be changed, so we really don't care. And now I should be able to connect here with a curl -k and -u admin. And then we're going to need the password, which has special characters, so we're going to put this around it. Control C. Boom. And then HTTPS 127.0. Actually, we're going to use its real address. 192.168.11.183 9200. If that connects, then we get the right stuff that we expect for the indexer. All right, so that's good. All right, and then it says that we can check the cluster is working with, at the end of this, we can add cat nodes $v. And then we would be able to see that there's just this one, looks like this is the ingest master remote cluster client. It looks like it's doing all these things, right, on this one node. So that's cool. So that install part worked. That's good. What I would like to see then is this. Like we did that and we turned this on, right? I also do really like this, that they say to go ahead and disable that repo. So now this is not going to get updated. This is going to be set in stone hard right now as it is. If I want to go turn that on again, I could just flip these bits the other way, because this is just a search and replace against everything that's enabled 1 and sets it to 0 in that file. So I could just go like this. Watch. I could just cat that whole thing out, and you would see that all this did was change enabled there. So if I went and changed this the other way, just to show you guys if you've never done it, this is nice. You just steal these whenever you find them, and then now it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, right? That's all it did, just flip the bits, right? And then I always tell you guys, like, you don't have to memorize how sed works, but you should be at least good enough to do some of these basic this is just a search and replace. And this one also, I'm like 90% sure that if you wanted to globally do it, you'd put a G here. Otherwise, this will only do the first one. But they must just know that there's only the one, so that's why they wrote it like that. But if you were going to do this across multiple, you would put the G there typically to do that. And you might say, well, can you prove that? Yeah, we can go test that and prove it real quick. Watch this one. Let's cat etc yum.repos.d, and then I think we should have a Rocky in there. What are other ones? Rocky.repo. And this one has, see how this one has a whole bunch of them, and they're not all enabled. In fact, they're all disabled except for this top one. Yeah, all the other ones are disabled. So we can turn them all on if we wanted to, just like this. So we would turn them all that were on, or that were off to on, in Rocky repo. Just like that. And if we go cat Rocky repo, now all of those ones that were off are now on. And maybe you wanted that, or maybe you didn't, and then we could clean that up later. Easiest way to clean it up would be like this, and then we just happen to know what the first one was. Also, if you're ever going to edit something like that, you really should save off an original first. I didn't do that, but I turned them all off, and this one needs to be on, because this is the only one that was originally on, was the default one. All right, anyways, the point is that's all done. So if we've done all that, we've installed, we can proceed with installing the Wazuh server. So now it says go install. That was the step-by-step if we wanted to not use the helper script. But we did use the helper script, so we get to skip that one. And the next part is the Wazuh server. So this analyzes the data. And it says right here that we could do the assisted installation or the step-by-step. So we'll go do the assisted, because that's kind of what we already had. We already have that install. And this says to install the server. So we'll start the server next, I guess. By the way, we already have the other stuff there. So now, is that the same one? Indexer and cluster are up. And now we're going to start that. All right. So this is going to do that same setup, but on this node. We're doing everything on one node, right? And then the last thing we would do is we would disable them. And then now we can set up the dashboard. So we don't need the step-by-step, because again, that's just the verbose version of all this. Yep. And we don't need that. So let's go set up the dashboard. We'll do the assisted. Same thing. Set up the dashboard. All right. Don't worry, I didn't forget about this. So we come here, and the server part was next, and that was a different page, but his steps were super simple. It was just, where's the server at? There's that. And then we got the dashboard. But we can go back real quick. And on the server one, step by step, this is the server assisted one. There's our notes. Right? So like if somebody needs to come along and get this working, they can do it. That's what your notes are for. And mostly the person that's going to be doing that later is you. So you're probably going to be the one that's most happy that somebody did this, right, for you. You're going to be most happy that you did this for yourself. Right. So that's going to take a little bit of time. I should have timed these because I like to also, I've told you guys, I like to put my timing, like the timing stamps of how long it took. This thing's not really telling me how long this is taking to do, so I like to put time in front of stuff. And then if this was going to take like 15 minutes or something, then I can tell the engineers, you know, go do something else because this part takes 15 minutes. Do this part, go hang out for a little bit, come back and check on it. So I do like to throw time in front of commands. Time's essentially free. It just sets the starting and the ending boundary of time for you. It also tells you the system and the user time, but in most builds, we don't care that much about that, but it may be faster. I mean, if you're paying attention to that, you may find that bigger, beefier systems do things faster because it was waiting for like a lot of system time. And then, you know, this system, instead of being 64 cores, is a 256 core box. So it chews something up that used to take 15 minutes and now it does it in 4.5 or something. Like that's probably more common than you think, but yeah. This is pretty straightforward. Yeah, this tool was pretty straightforward to set up. And then it looks like we should be able to hit the dashboard and it'll give us an admin and password here that we should be able to go in and change when that's done. And then we should be able to hit the looks like the box and just do the admin. So we'll see that here in a second. Let that install run and go. I don't know, you know, this stuff may not be as interesting to people, but it's setting up lab stuff. It's setting up so that we don't have to go look at it anymore. We can just pull it all down and do it all command line, right? First time we need to reference docs. Second time, hopefully my documentation's good enough that I could just run through this again on a brand new server. And then, you know, the third time I should be able to hand it off to some junior engineer, hopefully to build. Or the third time I can automate it, put it into my pipeline builds, and then anytime somebody ever needs a server that needs to be one of these indexers or whatever, it can just build all my steps on it, right? That's the goal we eventually get to, right? So let this go. Is this box must be working kind of hard. Let's see. Let's go see. So Wazuh, how are you doing? He's maxing the CPU out, so he is doing something. Dashboard service started. Okay. 443, so it's going to be HTTPS when it goes. That's interesting. Then we're going to test the dashboard with that. Hey, Rob with the raid. How's it going? I haven't seen you on in a while, Rob. I saw the alert today that you were on, and I was like, oh, I'll go hop on. And what we're doing is I'm kind of showing how I'm building a tool out that I've never touched before. It's called Wazuh. I'm putting it into a server in my lab environment. I'm over here taking my notes as I go. So I tell you guys that I always build for myself. I have the notes in the system, but then I kind of have my raw notes as I did the thing, right? And then I tell you guys that these notes should be good enough that I can go through and do it again without the documentation, right? So hopefully I could like just blow the server away and rebuild it. But then after I redline at that time, and redline just means fixes anything that was my assumptions or things that didn't work like I expected, then when I'm all done, then I should be able to say, here's the default username and password, by the way, which we're going to change, so I don't mind showing that on stream. If that was like set, I wouldn't be showing it on stream, but since it's just for this build, there's that. But anybody from Rob's stream, if you guys don't know me, I'm just a guy that does Linux, and I do a whole lot of Linux, and that's where we're at right now. So, Rob, hopefully it's not too late there for you. I think it should only be about 10 o'clock where you're at, but hopefully you're good. Hopefully you're surviving the deep freeze, too. I'll put that there, too. We don't really need... yeah. Oh, and by the way, why am I putting... You guys got to stop me. That needs to be... you guys need to stop me. This needs to be down here. Oh man, you guys gotta stop me. All right, so let's see if I can hit that box now in my home lab. I've never used this tool before in my life. You guys just have told me that it's a good tool, and I'm gonna kind of believe you. Let's go to 192.168.11.183 colon 443, right? And then hopefully, provided there's nothing on there, nothing blocking that. 183. Yeah, I don't have the firewall. Let's go make sure I don't have firewall on. Firewall D is running. Systemctl stop firewall D, just for now. We'll stop it for now and we'll get that going. And let's reload it. Let's also check over here. 443 is listening on this box, and he's listening from, well, we might have to change it. He's only listening from his own system, so we might have to change that. Let's go with, all right, we might have to change the way this config. Let's see. Okay, there's my dashboard. Let's go look at how that started. Systemctl. That'll just happen left hand. Systemctl status Wazuh dashboard. All right, he looks like he's up, but we need to systemctl cat him now because we need to see where his configuration came from. There's his environment file. All right, so user group killed, nice. All right, we need to take that file and we're going to make an original version of it. Right? So now we'll have an original file before we go breaking stuff. Because I have to figure out now why. So watch this. If we do an ss ntulp, why is he not listening to? So right here, see how it's only 192.168. So he's only listening internal to his own cluster. So you'd have to be on 192.168.11.183 for him to listen for 443, which doesn't make any sense. This is a headless server node out here. Why would he be connecting to himself? So we need to figure out how to get this listener to all, right? So there's probably down here in like Wazuh dashboard, maybe in there. So there were two types of installs that we could have done, if you guys recall. Let's go back a few. And there was the step-by-step. So let's go look at the step-by-step component installation because we may be able to change that in here. So look at this. So Etsy Wazuh dashboard open, search, replace the value. Okay, no, that's going to just change where we're looking, but we already have that set. Name dashboard mode. That's all been set for us. There's the daemon reload and all that stuff. And then, okay, so that's the master node. There's nothing in here, so this is just pointing back to the indexer and pointing back to the node. There's nothing in here that tells us. Nope. Close default. That's fine. I don't want to change any of that stuff. All right. Let's see if other people have experienced this. Yeah, see, this is the problem. All right, where's that at? See if these guys have it. Somebody's got the config. I just need the config file. What was that value? Ah, here it is. So server host, right, can be set to. Do we have? We don't have an original of this file either. So let's copy that to original, just so we have it, right? I like to just do it like that. Now if we ls in here, we'll have the original, right? We'll go, I like to also do this, so I'm going to copy it off, and then, oops, and then we're going to change that to 0000, because that will make it restart the service, go look at our listener. So how is our system actually listening? Now it's not listening. Not listening at all anymore. That's not good. We're not seeing any other, so let's give it a second to start up. Yeah, there it is. Now it's listening to everything. So, in theory then, right? In theory now my home lab should be good. Oh, Robodom's here. How's it going? Yeah, I'm glad Rob came by. Any Rob Raiders that are still hanging out, you guys are welcome. We're going to 192.168.11.183. Whoops. Oops. I got a lot of stuff in my home lab. And then we're doing :443. Yep. Yeah, that's fine with no certificate. I don't care. All right, there it is. It's loading. Taking its sweet time, but it's loading. Username is admin, and then that really long password for the first time, which will change right now. Right, we'll go in. Could not select some things. Could not select. So there's some errors, and that's fine. Looks like there's some other stuff going on. Check connection. 5500. I'm not sure what those all are, but we can maybe play with that later. Let's go down here, and at least we got a dashboard. Let's reset our password with the current password, and then we'll set our new password, which is our home. It's just our lab password. Reset. What? Should be. That's weird. This is a big long one that we were given, right? And these are my 2 new ones. I don't know if this is the password. Okay, so that was that's a weird. All right, hold on. We got to use a longer password for. All right. Huh. Failed to reset password. Status foreign message. Resource admin is reserved. Well, that's a strange one. That's a strange one. All right. We won't touch that. We should be able to. So this is interesting. -P 8316. But what is he listening to? So he is talking to the Wazuh indexer. So those are up. And then it says port 55,000. Well, it does make sense that 55,000 is not listening because, well, it's not being listened to here. But 5,500 is also not being listened to here. Well, that's fun. Well, 55,000 definitely would be disconnected or would not connect because it's obviously not on right there. Which is weird because we followed everything. Everything looks like it's running. Indexer is talking to the server. Dashboard is up. Last thing to do to this box is this. Well, there's other things to do too, but let's status that. It's enabled, so it means it's coming up when the node comes up. Let's check dashboard just for the same. Oops. Dashboard is also enabled, so it's going to come up when the box comes up. That's good. Last thing we should do then is kick the box over. Anybody know why I do that 3 times? Who knows? Some of you guys know. It's because I'm insane, right? Anybody know why I reboot a box 3 times? Take a drink while I'm seeing if anybody wants to answer. All right. Also, I'll show you some guys, or I'll show you guys some things that maybe some of you haven't seen before on, you know, if you're hitting a box, if you're testing the stuff that's installed on it and how it booted. I'll show you guys some of the little tricks that I use because I build a lot of servers. That's kind of one of the things that I have kind of fallen into on my career is I end up being the guy who builds things because I'm good at building things the same way over and over again. That's one of the things I've always kind of excelled at. So we got to figure out what agents and where we're going to put them. All right, that box has to come back up. It's about 100 to 120 seconds in my environment typically. We can also go watch it boot if we wanted, just for fun. Here's the Wazuh server. It's back up. It's got a little bit of CPU, probably from those things starting. He's doing something for sure. But that server's back up. We can watch it at the console. We can see that he's booting to... He should not be booting to graphical user interface or graphical target. Yeah, there he is. He's in, basically, so he should be in multi-user mode, run level 3, right? And then here he is. He's booted. We can see his performance a little high because those servers are starting on him. Good. So I should be able to SSH over there. I put both of those for fun, right? Because we were messing around earlier. And then I should be able to SS-NTULP and see that things are probably still starting on the box. I can do a system D analyze critical chain for, what was it, Wazuh dashboard dot service. Yeah, boot up is not yet finished, so wait some time here, buddy. All right, that's fair enough. Look, it's probably almost finished now because, well, the dashboard's up. You say, how do you know the dashboard's up? Dashboard's up right there, right? But are the other things coming up? Are the indexers and stuff coming up? There's the critical chain for the dashboard to come up. Those were all the things that had to boot for him to come up. But what's this other one? Indexer, is he up? He's up as well. So he's spiked, he's up. Those are, by the way, if anything's ever broken, you can go see how it broke and where it didn't work. So now I should see that indexer running on 9200, and I don't. So I don't know much, but I know that that was the port that it used. I don't know much about this tool. I know the dashboard's up, but where the dashboard connects back into is not up yet, the server and the other stuff. So what's the other one? There's one other one. All right, load failed. So the indexer did fail. Java errors. Who wants to go chase down Java errors, guys? Oh, just stab me in the heart. I don't want to go track down Java errors, right? So, what do we do with that? We just turn the machine off and we act like we were never playing with Wazuh, right? Look, guys, look, this is yeah, Java's nightmare. That's so. There's a couple of things I want to check on this box. We have plenty of space available. We may, hold on. We may, well, no, we should have been. We never spiked CPU. We could have spiked all the RAM out of the box. So there may be some tuning there that we would have to do to get this to run correctly. That is super annoying, though, that let's see if we can't just restart. See if it'll start now. Yeah, reinstall. Yeah, hold on. Let's go look at what happened. Why did the job fail? There's a connection error to 9200. So, Sometimes it's as easy as this, guys. Sometimes. Sometimes it's as easy as this. Six, 4, 4. Let's see how that service starts. See, it starts as the Wazuh index user, so it doesn't have permissions to make things down there. And it also doesn't have permission to write in there unless I make this a 666 file. And hold on, let's make sure this other thing's not too locked down. Chmod 666. Don't worry about it, it's fine. It's just a number, guys. And he's got permission to traverse. And he's got permission to traverse. Good. Okay, so the service should... That's a simple fix if that's the fix, because now the indexer can see that directory. It was trying to go to a log that it didn't have permission to go to. It didn't exist, and it didn't have permission. Journal CTL XE. Ha! All right. It couldn't rename. All right, so it doesn't. Oh, all right. We'll give it the permission to own the directory. God, what a little. Guys, I don't like swearing on stream too much, but God, what a little bitch, man. Like, fucking just, like, are you kidding me? Like, oh man, that's stupid. All right. Oh man, that is big dumb. Ch own root Wazuh whatever index whatever, and then fucking this directory. Good gosh. Okay, hold on, directory chmod 775. Okay, don't cry too much. Good God, man. Fuck. Never seen a service do anything like this before. Gonna start now? Gonna start? You gonna cry some more? Good God. Like, you should be able to... Terminally deprecated method. Guys, didn't we just install the newest version of this? Are you guys reading this error up here? What the... What? I mean... What the hell? Guys. This is... What the heck? Oh my God. A terminally deprecated method. All right, who's gonna? Oh man. Oh, this hurts. This hurts all the way to my kidneys right here, guys. This is just. Oh. Look, and then every time I tried to start it, he's trying. It's like the old. It's a little bit different. There you go. I can answer that for money. It's a different Rick and Morty. It's actually, I think, the fourth one with Mr. Meeseeks. Is that right? This one's more up in like season 4 or something. But anyways, it's like he's trying. I do need to get Mr. Meeseeks up on my little list of things that I can pop up on my screen. But oh man. We're gonna give this one more shot. We're gonna give this one. This is gonna get one last little more shot. It's gonna be right here. Can I just, well, if I can just set that in, let's, possibly this is a simple fix, right? Possibly down in, log4j, man, they better not be jacking everything up. All right. Crap, how's the name of that error? Java.io. Open search tempter. So, it's assuming that I have certain things set. Let's go look at our cat real quick. Are there certain environmental variables set? So there's my tempter. Well, okay. We're just gonna make that and give it to them as well. So this thing can stop being a big old just var log. Okay. Can you stop crying just for like a second and start? So let's watch it try. Hold on, let's watch it try over here. He's trying. It's gonna, you can see it spin up. Good gosh, man, what a silly little thing. What a silly. How did it start before? Did it just like temporarily make those files then delete them? Like, how was it running? Anyways, look, so what did we do? We went and we, for people that were wondering what I was doing, I was down to see if they had a permission to where that Java IO tempter was that was failing to start. And it was this OpenSearch tempter was the value. So the OpenSearch tempter is part of the environmental variables that get set when we call it. And that was going to a place that doesn't exist. So I made the thing exist. And then I said, here, you're the owner, buddy. Do whatever you want in that directory. So now, all right. We'll stop complaining. Looks like we got it to start. Still a little perturbed by that. This should make me log back in, because now I'm not down in that anymore, right? Like I should be right here, and this should be, whoops, this should be 443. That's a funny one to have to solve on a box that should, I mean, that shouldn't have been. Now we could write that all up and send it to them and go, hey guys, on a brand new install of Rocky 9.4, but I don't care that much. So if any of you guys want to do that and want to get some brownie points with them, you can. I don't really need that because it should grab it. Oh. What's stopping me now? Who remembers? It's the firewall. Gotta stop it. That was it. That was me being dumb there. But that wasn't what stopped all the other crap from happening. All right, here we go. And, I couldn't change the password earlier, so let's see if we can change the password now. I'm not going to keep copying that monstrosity in. Check connection. Well, it's still not listening on whatever that is. Why in all the world would we be trying to connect to that port? Waiting for that port to come back up. 443. There it is. Not ready yet. Oh, why is that not? Wazuh Manager doesn't exist on our system. We have a dashboard and an indexer, but we don't have a manager. So let's see, back to opt. Wazuh. Why didn't that? What gives us the manager? We did the install. The only thing that I can think is the cluster portion, the server portion isn't there. Let's go to step by step. Because we did all this. Ah, why? How did we miss this? Now I know that because we didn't do that. We did this one, which was the assisted install. And so the server never installed correctly. Let's get the server on here. Apparently that's what we're missing here. So let's get this thing going. And we're not backgrounding anything anymore. We're just going to let this stuff run. So yeah, so we're building Wazuh in our home lab, and we're finding it to be very, very simple and not bugged at all, and definitely nothing wrong with the installers from the... Now, we did to be fair to them, we did the assisted installation every time. What would probably be better, and this is more sysadmin-y, would be to do the step-by-step install, and we do all of our own DNF installs, all of our own everything. We allowed the assisted installation to be configured. We set up everything. We configured it ourselves, and then we went through it. So if any of these pieces had failed, we didn't really see them fail because we weren't doing all the individual pieces, if that makes sense. So apparently the server part did not finish or did not work, and now we're having a problem because the dashboard's up and the indexer are up, but there's no manager on our system. So now when we go to troubleshoot, it's like, hey, the manager needs to be up for this, and we're like, well, what manager? We did all your steps, but it didn't come up. So this is one of those ones. We'll go back, we'll check the steps, we'll make sure all the tools are there. It would be nice if there was a little check at the end, which I'll write for myself when I go and do this. And the check would be, is the indexer there? Is it on? Is it listening on 9200? Is the manager on? And is the manager listening on this arbitrary port 55,000? Right? And then my last check would be, is the dashboard on? And is the dashboard listening on port 443? Right? And those would be my 6 checks. Does it exist? Is it on with the right port? Does it exist? Is it on? Does it, that would be my checks for the system. So it would look like this if anybody cares. So server checkout after install, and I would just say system like exists, right? And it would be system CTL. So the tool, the actual service is Wazuh indexer. Index.service. Indexer. I see right there. .service, right? So that has to exist, and then running, and it's going to be that same Wazuh -indexer .service on port. This guy is a 9200 and 9300 if we care. He also has a 9300 port. I don't know what that does, but so these would be my checkouts, right? In between these two would be the manager and the manager service happens to run on, for some reason, 5500. And then the last one would be the dashboard service Right, and then he would be dashboard. And he would be listening on port 443. So then this would be a way to do a little checkout on our box. Is that on? Is that on? Is that on? Boom. Yeah, I think this all got backgrounded and stopped. So I don't think any of this got installed. So, all right. So now, if this has all worked, let's go sysctl grep Wazuh. Now we have a manager. And if we go look here into ULP, now we're listening on that arbitrary port. And if we come here, we should be able to refresh. And now we're getting that connection. And now Wazuh, well, we should. And Wazuh shouldn't be complaining all crazy anymore. All right. So, guys, I went into this. I knew nothing about this tool. Now I know way more about it than I ever wanted to. But now we have, we're there. This is going to take a little while to probably index and check some things out. But there is our base install. We will not be backgrounding anything. So I will never background again in there. But all of those things should be, so generate the config, start the indexer, start the server cluster. So that's the indexer install. And that's the server cluster install. It also does werewolf and all that. And then there's nodes, config, dashboard nodes, generate the config file, boom. Start the indexer install, start the cluster install, and then the last one, there's actually a new one now. This one was start the this is the dashboard install. Right, so that was the dashboard install. So boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and then the cluster one. Same one. Oh, hold on. The cluster install looks like this. There we go. Those were all the pieces that were not correctly done by me because often I do things wrong. All right, let's see if this stupid thing will load. Oh man, look at this. Now it's doing some crap. Default API has been updated. Now it's going to go hopefully be the cool tool that everybody keeps telling me about. I know it's a blast of white for people that are probably falling asleep right now, but let's see. Online error checking for updates. Can we refresh that? We at least see this all working. Now, we're not doing anything yet with the tool. Hold on. We're not actually sending any info in yet. But here we go. And now, actually, it's going to be tracking on at least just the one box, I think. So it says this instance has no agents registered. Please deploy agents to begin monitoring your endpoints. So how do we deploy an agent? Looks like if we have a Linux one and then we have an RPM. Oh, this will be interesting. We'll see if we can give it a ability to log in. Interesting. All right. This will be no agents were added. Add agents to the fleet to start monitoring. That's fine. Mainly we want endpoints. So let's go see. Let's go see if we can push this to one of our nodes. So let's deploy a new agent. We'll do the process. We'll go see what this looks like. RPM, AMD 64. Server address will be 192.168.200.25. This is a server in our environment that is called Werewolf. And let's go ahead and give it. Hold on. And when we say deploy new agent, okay, yeah. Agent name will be werewolf, right? That's the name. We don't have a group form, so we'll just make him default. And then we can go copy the command. And then we'll go see if we can't. On the poor little werewolf box. Oh man, you get to be our guy that gets werewolf on him. Or on Wazuh on werewolf. There we go. And it's WULF if you guys are ever looking it up. The name werewolf. Alright, so it's installing the agent. Then we're gonna have to start it. And then we'll see how fun this is. Now, if we go to do this to install, this will be interesting because the process will be different for all of my werewolf nodes. Let's go ahead and start it, see what happens here. All right. Give that thing a little bit of time to think. Looks like it's running. There's a process ID 89137. Might be one of these. Oh, look at that. It's log collector, module, sysd, execd. I just wanted to see if I could find PMCD. Okay. 891. Okay. Let's see over here if we got anything new coming up. Anything new popping off. Do we see that new node? This thing has no agents registered, but we definitely have an agent. Doing something. Okay, that's not great. I definitely deployed a new agent. Definitely an agent running in this environment. He can get over there. So you would think he'd at least be checking in if he was... Hmm. This firewall's off. It's all IPv4, so traffic should be flowing. Agent's on. So I guess the question, or what I don't know, is what does this thing wait for? I like that's got different information in here that we could go filter down and look through. So that's kind of nice. This is only on the local box though. Yeah, the 183 box. That's fine. It looks like we're getting log information in there, which is good. Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in here, but we don't see alerts, monitoring, statistics. Yeah, we can worry about getting this more on these other nodes later. Let's do a couple of quick checks. I do got to figure out, the agent was downloaded. The agent should have the proper settings. So let's see, Wazuh. Do they not have it in the same spot? See if we installed an agent, right? And then we're gonna do this real quick. QL Wazuh agent, because I don't know this agent at all. So where did it put everything, right? Like where did you go put everything that you had, and specifically Etsy, right? I care about your Etsy files. Where the hell did it put everything in this system? Var OSSec. Here it is. Here's the config, right? Whoops. Well, that's what I thought it did. That's what it says it installed. We're looking through all the packages that this installed, and I'm looking for config style ones. Here we go. That'll also help. Environment, varsec, Wazuh control stop, reload, but do I see cd var OSSec Etsy? So here he is. Here's his config profiles. Queue size. Is this a push or a pull? I imagine it's a push because it's an agent. So when he goes to push, says check is every 12 hours. It's fine. How often do you push? Syncs with his database every 5. So he should be checking in, right? I mean, he should be doing something. Does he know? All right, so there's nothing in there for that. I look for 183 out of everything, because 183 is the IP address of the system he wants to talk to, and I just want to see if there's any. Should be an config should be an Etsy. All right. Well, this thing definitely has not checked in yet, so we'll have to figure out what's going to get it to check in, and then we'll be able to figure out what's kind of going on with that. But I do like that it's got your PCI DSS, your GDPR. I mean, these are the big ones right here. That, like, I always, if you guys have ever hung around on stream and heard me talk security stuff, you've heard me mention these things right here. So that's really cool if it'll tell you when we get a box to actually respond back, if it'll tell us how closely we are to the GDPR, you know, and then if we want to do file integrity monitoring to track things, I think this will be fun to play with. So we'll get into that over the next few days here and stuff. Let's see, is the wife coming home yet? She's not coming home just yet. Yeah, Linux developer, we got it running. There were a couple little hiccups, a couple things we had to fix, and I told everybody if they wanted to do a write-up and send it back to Wazuh, they could. I mean, we just used a Rocky 9.4 brand new server, but some of their stuff did not work correctly on the deploy, so we went and we fixed it, and we made that stuff, and yeah, we went and got it working. File integrity monitoring, the last tool I've used in Linux for file integrity monitoring that wasn't paid for was Tripwire. So if this can do like some Tripwire stuff for us, this could be pretty cool in our home lab, environment. Because what I would do is I would put this on all the boxes, right? And then we could just keep track of, because I give you guys root. When you come into our environment, you have root access on our boxes. Well, then when the boxes are done, we just close them down, turn them back on, and they come up as stateless machines. So it doesn't really matter what you did on them. But if we ever need to track what somebody did, file integrity monitoring would be nice. Yeah, we're still not seeing any of these yet. We saw that Rocky was one of his tags over here. So earlier when I was looking through this real quick, he had his profiles were Rocky 9, and Rocky 9.4. He's 1514 as his port. So this node should be able to he can ping, he can get to him. I mean, he should know of that box, right? So I mean, we installed it over there from his deploy. So I just have to figure out how to do the deploy. I just have to figure out how to get it over here. Probably back in here is probably after all this stuff, right? We go through all this stuff again. We just pretend like we're actually doing the install again. We go all the way to the dashboard. We keep going, and then it should have how to do the agents, right? And so on the dashboard, we did all the dashboard. So we did all this stuff, right? And we're just going, looking for now the agent, right? Here's the agent. It'll do the things that you want it to. And we go to deploy it. We give it a name, unique assign agent name, Windows. That's that. And then start the agent, net start. Good. Linux endpoints, we did. Hold on. We did install the agent, and we did do it that way. But now maybe they have, maybe there's a little more of a... Wazuh Manager. Let's go see. We did our cat. See, we should have had all this when we dropped that command in here to install it. All this stuff should have been there. There he is. curl-o and sudo Wazuh Manager. Oh, why did it hold on, what? Oh. Hold on. That's not right. This 100% should be the Wazuh node. Wazuh agent group is fine. The agent name is fine. And then we were going to install it. Let's see if we reinstall it. Hey, thanks for coming by, Enzo Bear. Packages are all right. All right, system CTL stop. Stop it all. Rip it all out. Pull it all out. Just pulling everything out. This is not the best way to do this, but I mean, it's fair enough. Let's do just this part, which is all we actually need to install it. And then let's see if this thing starts talking. That was part of our problem. We'd just go run this command. And name, instead of being werewolf, would be host name of each of the nodes that we wanted to register. I could push that out via Ansible in an ad hoc command. All right, let's see. Dashboard. Inventory. Man, there's a lot going on in here. Discover. Still only 183 coming in right now. That's fine. Should see it soon, hopefully. Is there a way to get both Six Sigma White Belt and Lean Six Sigma White Belt? Yeah, you. Is there any reason to? I mean, I guess it's just one way to bolster your resume, Ace. I would tell you, if you were going far in that field, it wouldn't matter that you had both. But if you were just trying to start out and wanted to show that you were pretty serious about like some basic engineering, I would get both of the Six Sigma and the Lean Six Sigma belts. There's no reason not to. They're both free. We were going to do a study group one of these days and just sit down and everybody that wanted to do it could do it with us. I just haven't put that together yet. Oh, hold on. Let me start this. Stop. Start. That was the problem. We didn't restart it. Oh, and we might have to redo. Hold on. We have to redo the. Hold on. Status. Says it started, says it's doing its thing, and we need to enable it too. Enable it again so if the box reboots it comes back up. And then now, let's give a second for inventory. I mean, I don't know how long that's going to take to register back, but hopefully soon we'll have some things. Hey, thanks for the follow. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Ah, here's Werewolf. There he is. Boom. Ah, he's passed and failed a fair amount of them. We can go, oh, look at this. Oh, yeah. Those are all, oh, I can tell by looking at those that those are all CIS benchmarks. Yeah. I could tell just by when I saw Squash FS at the top. That's definitely 100% a check for that. That is awesome. Guys, that is a really slick, just for the value of that, that is a really slick tool right there. Just for that. Jeez. Man. That is pretty cool. Great info stream. Have you ever made a network description?
Great info stream. Have you ever made a network description document after making a network? Like a multi-layer company network, for example?
Well, no, I got out of network engineering pretty early in my career. I've done, so real quick as a little background on me, I got into networking when I was still in the Army, and I did my CCNA back in the early 2000s. I think I passed in 2002, and then yeah, I did pass in 2002. Then I was an infantry guy, and I got out after the war in 2003, and I started working at a school district, just moving computers around. I eventually did all their wireless and all their firewalls before I moved on and went over to GoDaddy to run their network operations center in 2006. And then from there, I basically just jumped over and done all Linux. Pretty much just been doing Linux since the early 2000s. And in all that, yeah, I don't do a whole lot of networking, but I do sometimes draw things out. So if you need like to, I do draw things out for people. I still teach networking. So like if you guys were like, hey, do you have any stuff on networking? I do have, like, hold on, let me pull up, like my little networking primer that we sometimes go through. I'd sometimes make you guys go through the networking primer with me. And this kind of looks like this. And then this is just like about networking and about things. But this is not really what I would call this here this is like networking for people who don't want to be involved with networking, you know, like people that want to be Linux engineers but still have to touch networking. And then I just go into like how the stuff works a little bit, how the data, you know, flow between the layers and some of that stuff. That's what this one is. This one's also recorded. But this is just about like the different types of stuff that you might run into, right? But no, I don't really draw out like network stuff anymore. I draw out system stuff often. There's a tool called Excalidraw that I really love for that. But no, like multi-layer company stuff, I will review that sometimes if I'm needed to, and I do IP address management, IPAM stuff sometimes. But no, for the most part, I let the network heavy guys do that, and then I just support if needed. Because my actual title is HPC engineer, right? Like I'm a high performance compute, technically principal engineer if that matters. But so Uragon over on YouTube said, is the Linux cert plus by CompTIA worth getting? I think it probably is. Like I tell you guys, if you have nothing on your resume, yeah, I got the Wazuh working finally, actually. But I tell you guys, if you got nothing on your resume, I would tell you go get something. Get some positive differentiators. I actually have it downloaded. It's right here. This is all the Linux Plus stuff. And then we were just kind of talking through the different pieces of it the last few days, right? Do I think you need to be, I don't know, like, do I think you need to get this to do the work? No. But does it help you to get your foot in the door and then show your work? Because at the end of the day, what do they want to find out in an interview? Can you do the work? Will you do the work? Well, can you do the work is pretty straightforward. I mean, I can talk to you for a few minutes and figure out if you are ready to like take the mantle of running. Because if you're a Linux admin for a company, you are running everything in the company that touches Linux. So if you're just going to go click things and break stuff, then I can't help you. Principal engineers are engineers with principles. That's funny. Yeah. I read something the other day that said that principal engineers have to have strong opinions on stuff, and I'm like, I don't. As long as my stuff works. I mean, I have a strong opinion that things should work, but I mean, oh, looks like my thing just broke. Hold on, this broke. Observability. Boom. There we go. All right, this is a different talk that we're not doing tonight, but let me pull this all back up. Sometimes I have to fix that. Page is fixed. We got the page working. Where is this at? Wazuh. Here we go. And then where's our config? Here. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we got that. That's actually, man, this is cool. I wanna go look back at the dashboard again. Hold on. No, I don't want. Well. Oh wow. Kind of alerts do we want? No, we don't want to. I'll get too far. Yeah. Yeah. Confirm. We'll get out of there. I don't want to get too far down in the weeds there, but now we've got more alerts in our environment, and I did kind of want to look at the file integrity monitoring real quick. So what if I go and I inventory of, oh, so this is all kinds of stuff from some node. agent 001. Let's just cd to etc2 werewolf. vi werewolf.conf shift G. I'm just going to put and then I'm curious if I do something like that, then I look for werewolf. Will this find so here's my inventory of stuff and its root, and man, that's a lot of information about a lot of stuff. But which so here's Etsy, but it's root group UID, but it doesn't tell me which node. Oh, this is on just the werewolf. Okay. And then maybe okay. So here's my werewolf stuff. And here is my, so there's my node config.original, but do we have the my werewolf.conf, right? And we see that it was last modified on this date, and that's true, but I just changed it. So, would it give us a trigger if somebody changed it? Now I'm curious on that. Like, could we set up one of these little... We should be able to. Right? We should be able to see if there was an event. And then in Etsy... We definitely saw it. Right? Down here. It was over here, though. And then werewolf.conf definitely says it was last modified at this date. But tomorrow, we are running Wazuh in the environment. We had some some interesting problems standing it up, but we figured it out. Also, I'm going to document some of those things in here. In the server setup, there was a problem where we had to go find that, and then we had to make the directory. So we had to make the directory for the big old baby, and there were a few directories, so it wouldn't cry. What was the other directory we had to install? Where was the other one we had to make? And then, yeah, it had to be that. And then the other one that we had made, I don't know if we, strictly speaking, had to make this one, but we did, was the, where was he at? That guy we made, hold on, there was one in var log. cd to var log. We'll do the whole makedir -p, and it was var log. And then for this to work, we had to give it permissions. We actually just made that directory owned by varlog indexer. That's what we ended up actually. This was actually the fixes that ended up. What the hell? I always forget. So I'm so used to working in Putty that when you mouse over things, it does the it automatically does the copy for you, and then when you right click, like you just saw me do, it does paste. So when I move between my windows, sometimes I forget things all the time. So, so what do we have there? We have, yeah, that was a like a fix that we had to do that wasn't right, and then when we're all done installing all of this, this was our check at the end, when after we've kicked the box over and it's come back up and we've done all these things. I'm gonna pull these individual pieces out here because these all, I ended up just doing them all in the one. Whatever, don't really care. We ended up doing them all in just the one here. And then, yeah, there's the fix up there too. Yeah, screw it. All right. There we go. And then here's our server checkout after the install. Do these things exist? Are they running? Those 6 things have to be there. Otherwise, server checkout after install and reboot. Those things should be running on the node. And then agents need to properly have their environmental variables set before they connect and install the agent. Example, werewolf. And his install was like this right here. This was his actual install where we set the manager over to the right node, we set his group, and then we set his file name. Right? And that's one command, or that's one thing. Oh, and then there was one, you also need to do that first for that to work. And yeah, see, so it's that command. And then ampersand, ampersand. Does everybody know what the ampersand, ampersand does? Anybody know what that is? Like, I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'm trying to help people if they've never seen an ampersand, ampersand, and they're like, what is that? What is that doing? It's 2 commands. The first one is curl and downloading a file here, and it's naming it this, so the output file is there. But then there's this ampersand, ampersand. The Linux developer, you're pretty right. Yeah, that's the net effect of it. Is it says it's basically a poor man's if then. What you're doing is, and when I say poor man, I mean it's just we didn't have to write an if then. It's doing this, and if the output of this is 0, meaning good, right? A return code of 0 is good, then it will do this command. Only if this was output 0 does this command then run. Compare that with 2 pipes, like if you had done these, it would still do this command even if that command failed. And then this command would fail all over the place because now you're trying to install something that didn't get downloaded. Right? Does that make sense? So this is a successful if-then clause, right? It's just if this successfully exits with 0, then do this. That's all it does. So this is an and this is an or. If you guys have ever heard that, and or will do it whether it's good or bad. So, but I don't know why you'd ever do an or. You would just do a semicolon and then your next command. So, all right. Yeah, that's exactly, but that's what it's doing. Yeah, if anybody's wondering, that's what an ampersand, ampersand is. It would be the same thing if we were to have done something in there where we then did like an if-then test. It would be the same exact thing as what comes after the then, right here. It's just, when I say a poor man's way of doing it, I mean, it's quick, it's dirty, it just works. Does this really show up in a script? Probably not. We would probably do this, get the return code, or test if that file exists and is non-zero, and then do this next part in a script. But dirty at the command line, just do it, right? Like let it be so, right? That's kind of, yeah. It's the efficient man's version. I like that way. I used to always call things like the poor man's way of doing something. I want to see though. I do want to see when does this trigger that we just changed it. See, it's still saying last modified, and it's still saying last analysis at 21:02. So can we re-trigger this analysis? Because this thing will change. This file, we've changed this file. And I need to see how do we kick that off, or how do we make that more often? Maybe there's a setting down in the agent where the agent watches some of these more closely. We could probably play with that. But this is, guys, this is nice. This is slick. I'm gonna give this thing I'm I'm going to give it a thumbs up on usability. I think that this is something I'm actually going to use in the home lab here and get better at. I'm going to give this like a 5 out of 10 on install because that was a challenging install. Some of that stuff you guys just saw me go do, I might have had to fix for some of my junior. Like if I had sent maybe half of my junior engineers to do this, they probably would have come to me with either it not working or with questions. There's probably only a few of my like more junior engineers that I work with that would have not powered through this and got that installed to work. So, I mean, I'm not trying to brag about that. I'm just saying it's like there was stuff in there that I wouldn't even have went and checked. I would have just thrown this away and been like, eh. But no, that was a good little exercise in that. So excuse me. Let's go find somebody to raid. I hope you guys like that stuff. It sounds like you guys are, interested in doing this. Some of you guys like seeing lab stuff kind of happen. So let's go there, and then let's find somebody to raid over on the Twitch side of things. See if anybody's doing anything fun out there in the world. Yeah, let's go raid Sid. I like hearing Sid yell when we raid him. So we'll go raid over there. If you guys want, our message will be do all the Linux. All right, our raid message. Otherwise, besides that, I appreciate you guys coming, and I will see some of you guys probably tomorrow. We'll hang out and do our afternoon stream for end of week. So, all right, take care.